Nowadays, one of the most common action movies that others get compared to is The Raid. People want to be able to say, this has the best action since The Raid. And on one hand, that's understandable, because the Raid movies have some of the best action scenes I have ever witnessed. But it's not always a warranted comparison. In this case, it's kind of warranted. That's all I heard about The Furious. It's a new Hong Kong action film, and everybody was comparing it to The Raid. And I gotta say, this is some of the craziest shit I've ever seen. It is different, but it's a pretty good point of comparison where I can say, if you enjoy those movies, there is a good chance you will get some entertainment out of this one too. And if you've never seen The Raid and The Raid 2, and you like it when people punch and kick each other, oh my god, you gotta get on that. Now, The Furious has an extremely simple plot. The main character's daughter gets kidnapped by these child trafficking scumbags, and he's on a mission to get her back. You've seen it before. Liam Neeson's done it a million times. Jason Statham's done it a million times. But this is elevated so much by the action on display here. It is wild. Our main character is a man of very few words. In fact, no words, because he's mute. He is a man of action. From the moment he sees that his daughter has been taken, he is laser focused and hyper competent. He is more determined than anyone has ever been about anything. Just the look on his face, the anger coming off of this actor's face constantly, the way he acts, the ferocity with which he fights, the brutality of it. He doesn't have to have a moment where he's like, I will find you and I will kill you. He doesn't have to say it. You can just tell that's how he feels. He will kill anybody he fucking has to until his daughter is safe. We know very little about him. There are people throughout the movie who keep asking him, who are you really? What's your past? What's your deal? And we never find out. Very simplistic story and characters. But this is all about those action scenes. There are a lot of them, and the level of talent on display here with the choreography, the stunt work, it is very exaggerated. It's very over the top. That's gonna be a barrier for some people. That's not gonna be the preference of some. But when you see what these people are able to do with the flips, the way they move their bodies, the way the camera captures it all so beautifully. When you have like 5 people in one fight scene and they're in like 3 different factions where some of them are directly opposed to the others, one of them's kind of a wild card, and so they're kind of switching opponents all over the place. They're all kind of fighting each other, and the camera has to capture all of them flipping and punching and kicking and everything, all basically dancing 5 people around this room. It's fantastic. The speed that some of the actors move at makes it feel like they sped it up in post, and I don't know if they did, or if they're just actually that fast, but the speed with which they attack each other, like, it just looks so incredible. Some of the things they do, the way they flip off of each other and grapple around each other, and just like, it's like, how can you even do that? Like, obviously a lot of it is very exaggerated. I don't know exactly what effects were added, how much of it is like maybe wire work involved, but it's the kind of movie where if somebody gets bumped into, they don't just fall over, they like fly through the air. If you just like watching these masters at work, performing action scenes, capturing action scenes on camera, these scenes are extremely entertaining, and that gives me some things that I've never seen before. For example, just one of the things, there are people who have been frozen into blocks of ice, and one of the ice block people gets his head punched off, and the head goes flying into another guy. I don't think I've ever seen that one before. It gets brutal. People are getting smashed with hammers. People are getting shot with a bow and arrow. Within like the first couple minutes, somebody's getting their eye smashed in. It's one of the first things that happens in the movie. Before anything has been established, before we know who anybody even is, somebody's already getting their eye squished. It wastes no time throwing you right in. Now, this very over-the-top style of action is not my preference. I do prefer it to be at least a little bit more grounded, because to me, it starts to feel kind of floaty, and that's intentionally so, but it makes each individual hit feel like it has less weight to it. And so it makes it feel like a lot of the actual fight scene doesn't really matter. It feels like we're kind of waiting for the big final blow to happen, and a lot of what happens until then is not really as relevant, which makes the fight scenes a little less engaging than something that is more grounded when it feels like every hit really packs a punch. Like, I love the speed at which they move and how they grapple around and how so much is happening you can barely even follow every hit, but it does make every individual hit feel less important. So it's still incredible. I was blown away watching it, but it isn't my preference. You definitely have to suspend disbelief quite a bit, which you do for many action movies, but here, it gets fairly extreme. Again, the over-the-top style is gonna be a barrier for some people. People take hits to the head or to the body or wherever that should probably just kill them, and they're like, all right, keep going, I'm fine. And I respect these stylistic choices because it means they just get to have as much fun as possible. Let's make it really exaggerated. Let's not worry about the realism of the physics or the injuries. Let's just go for it. And they do go for it. And it's pretty awesome. It just means that I didn't love it, even though I appreciated the hell out of those fight scenes. I do also think it's a little over long. It's like an hour 50. You don't have quite enough story to maintain that runtime, but luckily, the action scenes are so engaging. These actors are doing such a phenomenal job, several of them being from The Raid. The director is doing a great job capturing it all. That was able to keep me engaged. But one other thing that was kind of a distraction is that typically you go into a foreign language film and there might be sub or dub options, and if there aren't, I just kind of assumed, okay, it's gonna be in its native language. Well, in the case of this movie, there are characters speaking Chinese, and there are characters speaking English. The characters who speak Chinese are subtitled. But with a few of the characters who speak English, you can tell the actor is actually speaking English. But many of those English-speaking characters are clearly dubbed. And I hate dubs, generally. I just don't enjoy them at all. And it also gets very distracting because it's like, okay, well, you clearly found some actors who speak English for these English-speaking roles that you wrote. Like, you chose to write these characters as English speakers. So this other guy who has like 2 lines, you couldn't get somebody to speak 2 lines of English. Like, you had to get another guy to dub this guy, and it just gets distracting because I couldn't not notice it. Like, okay, well, that guy's actually speaking English. Oh, well, that guy is very clearly not. You know, good for the actors. They got hired, they got paid, but it does make for a little bit of a weird experience. So I'm gonna give The Furious a 3. I think it's absolutely worth watching if you're an action fan, not something that I'm probably gonna be adding to the collection just because the story is so simple. It's enough. Guy wants to save his daughter. The guy is so determined. He is going through all of this, fighting so hard. It's impossible not to root for the man, but it's still extremely simple. And like I said, it's just not my preferred style of action. I do feel like it dragged on a little long, and even each individual fight scene kind of felt like it dragged on a little long and got stale because of the weightlessness of the style that they're going for here. And yet still, I appreciate so much the way they were able to capture these action scenes. I think it is so good, so fun. If you're into action, if you're into movies like The Raid, then it should definitely be supported. You know that thing that Trinity does in The Matrix where she kicks a guy who's behind her? She like flips her leg over her head, and it works because they're in The Matrix, they're in a simulation, they can kind of do unrealistic things. Somebody just actually does that in this movie, and they're not in a simulation. That's the final thing that I will say. That's the final selling point. But this has all just been my opinion. Leave your thoughts on The Furious down in the comments below, whether you agree with me or disagree. I want to talk about it down there. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more from me. I appreciate it, and I hope to see you next time.